What's good, y'all? It's your boy having final round. We going to check out this open workout with Joshua. See if we can get some cues into what the game plan is going to be. I'm not so much concerned with the technique, right? Because Joshua, he is what he is. He's where he's at with his technique. That's not so much what I'm concerned with as much as the game plan, the mindset. What's he going to do? Because we saw in the first fight, the cues pretty much told us what he did in the first fight. Okay, the cues before the first matchup went down pretty much told us. Okay, in the fight preparations, the interviews, the shadow boxing, the mitt work, you saw Anthony Joshua working on a lot of head movement. He was kind of keeping his boxing in the center of the ring. You know, he was just doing things that were saying, I'm going to try and outbox Usyk. So I don't think it's far-fetched to watch this open workout and see if we get any signs and cues of what his game plan might be. Okay, so once again, it's not so much about technique that I'm worried about, his speed and, you know, his power on the mitts or anything like that. It's all about seeing how is he moving. Is he working on cutting off the ring? Is he going to be front foot oriented? Do I see him throwing punches, lots of body punches, whether it's on the mitts or when he's shadow boxing? So that's what I want to see. Now, even though Joshua should put pressure and cut off the ring, well, put pressure in the style of cutting off the ring, right? It wouldn't be a bad idea for him to go back and look at the film study or look at the tape with Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. He can actually learn a lot through that fight. The only problem is I don't know if Joshua has the footwork, the speed, the skill set, and the agility, the ability to be nimble like Teo, especially considering Teo's weight classes below him. Right, Joshua's a heavyweight. He's not going to be able to move like that. But, you know, we do know Lomachenko is from the school of Papachenko in Ukraine. Okay, and it wouldn't be a terrible idea to see if you can maybe cop off some of the techniques that Teofimo utilized in that fight. And one of the most primary techniques that Lopez used against Lomachenko to shut him down was pivoting to the inside when Lomachenko tried to be lead foot dominant and turn the corner on Lopez. Okay, what Lopez did, he would pivot to the inside, he would replace the positioning of Lomachenko, and he would try to catch him before Lomachenko got off. He would usually throw an uppercut or push Lomachenko off balance, or throw the uppercut and then push Lomachenko off balance. That way he wouldn't be able to get off when he turned the corner. And that's something Joshua could do. You know, I don't know. Once again, he does have the uppercut. He does have a really good uppercut, okay, from the backhand. But I don't know if he has the footwork to pull that type of maneuver off, okay? It's not even so much that Usyk is faster than him. I just don't know if Anthony Joshua has the ability to pivot to the inside quick enough and catch Usyk trying to turn the corner. But if he could, that uppercut right there, boom, would be a huge weapon. But I would like to see right now, him, and maybe they don't want to show it, I would like to see him pivoting to the inside and then throwing that uppercut. You know, I would like to see him pushing the mitt man off balance. You did see some hooks to the body, which was a good sign. Now, one thing I don't want to see Anthony Joshua doing while doing the mitt work is bobbing his head side to side. I don't think he really needs to do that. And when he does that, I think he's lowering himself down to Usyk's level. I think he should, not that he should stand tall with his chin in the air, but he should keep his range. He should keep his height and make Usyk force. See, I don't like all that head movement. You know, head movement's not for everybody, okay? It's not for everybody. And once again, if you're putting pressure, you don't necessarily need that type of head movement, especially being the bigger, rangier fighter. You know, if you're the undersized guy and you're trying to work your way in, yeah, you need that head movement a little bit more. Not to say I don't think Anthony Joshua should utilize any head movement, but it shouldn't be a primary concern. I didn't like the way he threw that right cross. It was just, I don't like how he kind of pulls up at the end. I know he's just working. He's kind of just doing this 50%. It's just a warm up pretty much before the fight. But you know, I don't know. You can have sharp technique and go. You don't have to go full speed, you know, but you can still maintain your technique. Got the hook right. That's another big weapon I would like to see him use against Usyk. His hooks, hook to the head, hook to the body. You know, every time Usyk likes to feint his head to the outside, right outside the jab of Joshua. You know, use that hook. Or every time Usyk wants to turn the corner, discourage him. Throw that hook. Who cares if he blocks it? Or throw it to the shoulder. You know, you can't miss. These are heavyweights. There's lots of body to hit. But I do like that it seems like he's working on his footwork to cut off the ring. He's moving more laterally, or he's trying to mirror his opponent. Okay? He's cornering his Demit man. He's backing him up to the ropes. He's staying in front of him. It seems like they're going to be lead foot dominant in this fight. This 1-2, I'm not crazy about it. If Joshua's going to come with a 1-2, he better double up on that jab. The first one to touch Usyk and the second one to get through. And then you come with the big right hand, the backhand to follow through. And one thing Joshua's going to need to do in this fight, he's going to have to aim for the chest. Stop aiming for the head, aim for the chest. And as a result, you will touch your opponent. You're going to be efficient with your energy, because as long as you're not throwing on air, you're not going to get tired quick. And as a consequence, usually when you aim right here to the chest, you can catch the chin sometimes. You can catch the chin. And another thing Joshua's going to have to do, he's really going to have to utilize that jab. He's going to have to stab it. Good hook to the body. I like that. He's really going to have to stab that jab out there. It's okay to paw, but it can't be your only primary weapon unless you're that skilled to where you can get away with just pushing your jab out there. I would like to see Joshua double up on his jab, stab through Usyk with it, you know, not paw all the time, because I think that's leaving Joshua prone to get countered. You know, if Usyk knows you're not going to throw that jab with bad intentions and he can see it coming out, then he has every opportunity. I mean, there's no liability for him to counter it. If I know you're just going to paw your jab, all I got to do is cue it up and time it. When it comes out, boom, I'm going to hit you with the left hand. I mean, obviously Joshua's powerful. That doesn't really mean anything to me, hitting the shield out of the trainer's hand. Good right uppercut. See, I wish he would come like all that ducking. He doesn't need to do that. Why are you moving like Mike Tyson? You know, you are too tall to be doing all that against the smaller man. I would like to see more jabs. I'd like to see more double ups on those jabs. I'd like to see him follow up double jab with the right uppercut. Right uppercut to the body. Double up, right uppercut to the body, over and over again. Or maybe you can double up with the jab, throw the cross, and then set up that uppercut to the body. Or vice versa. You know, I don't see him pivoting to the inside too much. You know, but I don't blame them not incorporating that inside pivot. That's a little tough to do for a heavyweight. That's not easy to do for a heavyweight, and that would expend a lot of energy for him to, you know, manipulate his weight and replace the positioning of Usyk every time he tries to turn the corner and be lead foot dominant. But, you know, Anthony Joshua is definitely capable, man. We seen him. That's the thing about Anthony Joshua. We seen him do some great things. You know, we seen him against the Southpaw and Charles Martin dominate the fight. He mirrored Charles Martin. His jab looked a lot sharper in that fight, and his punching looked better. That's when Josh, I think before the Ruiz fight, so he wasn't psychologically kind of gun shy. But obviously Charles Martin is a far cry, is a universe away from Usyk. But still, the fact that I see that Anthony Joshua has it in him physically to do what he did in that fight, it means it's possible for him to do against Usyk. strategically it gets more complicated, right? And you can't commit the way you can against Usyk as you would Charles Martin. But still, if you have it in you, if you've shown you have the ability, it's like somebody who's dunked, you know, okay, maybe they don't dunk all the time, but I know they can. I've seen them do it. It's possible. As opposed to if I haven't ever seen them dunk, then I can't give them the credit to say they can actually do it. So, and we've seen Anthony Joshua become a dog, you know, in the Klitschko fight. Now, Roy Jones pointed up something beautiful. I said that in the prediction video. He pointed out something that I never thought of. He sparred a lot with Klitschko. He was like a brother to Klitschko in boxing. You know, so he's very familiar with him. I think he had the confidence in that fight to get back up. He knew where he was going against Klitschko. He knew what it was going to be like, as opposed to going up against Usyk or Ruiz in those fights, to where it was kind of there was an unknown factor. Now, one thing about this post-fight, or this little not post-fight, but post-workout interview, the sweat doesn't bother me. I think that's a good sign. You know, he should be sweating. But what does concern me a little bit is he seems a little bit winded when he does this interview. Now, obviously, you can go pull it up on YouTube and see it for yourself. I don't know. He seems a little winded. That's not a good sign. He probably wasn't even going 50% on the mitts here, and it just seems like he was getting a little bit gassed. That's very concerning. Now, some of that could be nerves, but that's still a bad sign too, because if you're getting nervous for an open workout, then you're gonna break down in the actual fight. But I think Joshua has 4 to 6 rounds to get this done, man. He has 4 to 6 rounds to knock out Alexander Usyk. After that point, he better be in great shape, because if he's not, game over. I really do think Usyk's going to go for the kill here. He's going to be a little bit more aggressive. I think the game plan's relatively going to be the same. He's probably going to switch up some things, you know, subtle little changes, because I don't see how many adjustments Usyk can make, with the exception of maybe setting up his backhand differently. I do think he can go to the body a bit more. Now, we're all speculating after seeing Usyk's open workout whether he's going to turn southpaw. That would be absolutely crazy. I don't think he's going to do that, though. But I do think Usyk can go to the body a bit more and set up the left hand differently. And I think he can be more aggressive in this fight and go for the kill. I think if he pushes on that gas pedal, he could get Anthony Joshua out of there. And or not. He may not even have to, because if Anthony Joshua genuinely comes out more aggressive in this fight, it may give the countering opportunities to Usyk, okay, to where he can stun him, and then Usyk can turn on the gas pedal in the sense he can finish the fight. But he may not have to go looking for it. He may not have to go looking for the KO or the TKO. It may just come to him because Anthony Joshua is going to get out of pocket. And that's the thing I'm trying to tell you guys, is that Anthony Joshua, even if he does come forward and he is aggressive, he's playing into hands of Usyk. Usyk does not mind boxing off the back foot and countering. That's what he does. You know, so if Anthony Joshua wants to get recklessly aggressive, he's going to have to take some really grueling and punishing shots from Usyk. And I don't think he's going to make it through. That chin is not getting any better. It doesn't get better the more you get hit. You know, and he got wobbled a few times in that last fight with Usyk. But I think if Usyk can get down to the body a little bit more with that backhand, set it upstairs, and if Joshua gets recklessly aggressive, I really think a knockout will come early. Or not early, but 6-12. I think he'll stun Joshua, get his respect. But I call TKO, KO within 6-12 rounds. And I say this, Joshua, if he's going to win this fight, he has to outbox Usyk unless he lands that one big shot, that heavyweight shot that changes everything. But in my opinion, he's going to have to outbox Usyk. Even if he does land that big shot, if he doesn't put Usyk cold out, You know, Usyk's going to find his way back in that fight and still make it competitive. But I'm telling you, to come forward and put pressure methodically, in a calculated manner, and cutting off the ring requires skills, you guys. It requires good footwork, lateral movement, balance, a good jab, good timing. You know, a little bit of, for Joshua, you don't need a lot, but a little bit of head movement. You know, a little bit of head movement. You know, he's going to have to develop that. I don't think he had enough time. Now, in the Charles Martin fight, he does a great job of mirroring Martin, who's a southpaw. Okay? He's somewhat cutting off the ring, but in a different way, right? Not in the sense that he's trying to corner him or he's trying to put heavy pressure coming forward. Joshua just dominated the center of the ring. He kept his barrel of the gun pointed at Charles Martin at all times. He stood his ground. He did not back up. He just controlled the center of the ring. And wherever Charles Martin went, he had his gun pointed, which is his lead shoulder, his lead hand, and his lead foot. Constantly keeping that barrel of the gun pointed at the center line of Charles Martin. And it effectively had the same effect of cutting off the ring and being very lead foot dominant. Can he do that against Usyk? I don't think so. Usyk is more sophisticated with his movement, obviously, than Charles Martin and his feints. By the way, if Joshua wants to help himself out here, and if they did anything in this camp, I hope they added feints. It's really that simple. You don't need to be a master genius to throw feints. I mean, is there a subtlety to it? Yes. To throw a good feint. And does it have to be convincing? And does it have to be a way that you do it efficiently and consistently? Yes, don't get me wrong. Throwing feints, as easy as it seems, it's one of those things you kind of take for granted. And if you don't really practice it, you're not really going to do it in the ring. So it's something you have to be constantly conscious and aware of. But when I see him shadowboxing, I don't see him fainting. That's the beauty of Lomachenko and Usyk, is that they build feints within their defense. So they don't even really have to think about, oh, this is where I'll throw a feint, or I'm going to throw a feint here to see what's going on. They just keep on. They build their feints within their defense. So every time you see Lomachenko and Usyk slipping out to the right, to the outside of their opponent's lead hand when they're an orthodox fighter, they're effectively throwing feints. And you'll see it. They'll do it with their high guard. They'll angle out. Sometimes they'll duck. That acts as a feint as well in a defensive movement. So incorporating those defensive movements, okay, or their feints into the defensive movements, it makes it to where you don't really have to think about where you're going to feint. And that's the problem with Joshua. I don't think he's going to throw a lot of feints because he's not built in a way to where it's incorporated in his defense. Okay, if he's going to throw feints, he's going to have to actively be thinking about it. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that, especially when he starts getting tired and winded. That's the last thing that's going to come up in your head. Hey, I need to throw a feint here. But hypothetically speaking, if Joshua does throw feints, it will be huge for him. And I think that would be a way he could put pressure without necessarily cutting off the ring and control the center of the ring. Throw feints. See how Usyk reacts. If Usyk backs up, panics, backs out of the range, and jumps back in, you can kind of read this and see if it's a pattern and time him as he comes back in. And you don't have to do much. Maybe step in, half step your way in. And while he's jumping back into range and he's off balance, boom, drop a right hand, drop a body shot, double up on your jab and throw a combination after, or throw a power shot after. You know, or feint just to work Usyk mentally. That's the beauty of feints. They can do so many little things, and they can put mental pressure on your opponent. That's what Usyk did to Joshua the first fight. It wasn't just physical. I mean, he wasn't even controlling the center of the ring. He was playing Matador the whole time, but he was still putting mental pressure on Joshua, even though he wasn't dominating the center of the ring the whole time. So that's one gesture or act that Hopefully Anthony Joshua added to his game. I highly doubt it. But he could do what he did, try what he did against Charles Martin. What I liked about it, Joshua was he stood tall. He was the bigger man. When I say stand tall, I don't mean sticking your chin out there and, reaching for your punches, but he had a good foundation, a solid base, and he had his chin down for that fight. And every time Charles Martin would try to throw a punch or get off offensively, Joshua would just time him coming in, using his range. And that's the beauty, is that Usyk is the smaller guy. Make him come to you. Use your range in the sense that, not in the sense that you back up and you're setting traps, right? That's not what I mean. I'm not telling him to do the same thing he did in the first fight. But if Joshua can control, at least, maybe not even cut off the ring, but at least control the center, okay, and keep that lead foot pointed at Usyk at all times and try to time him with little real estate, okay, with Usyk operating with little real estate, and time Usyk coming in, he should be effective. But easier said than done. Charles Martin is not Usyk, and Usyk will throw feints. He'll give you that lead hand play. He's patient. He can box for 12 rounds, and that's the difference. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to outbox Usyk as a pressure fighter, and I just don't see that. So that's the way I see it. That's how I break down. I'm not going to get to the Usyk breakdown of his open workout. Like I said, he came out in the orthodox stance. That was interesting, but I highly doubt he's going to come out fighting orthodox. I find it hard, considering I'm not aware of him ever doing that in his career. But comment down below, like the video, subscribe if you're new. Cheers to my followers. I'm excited for this fight. Tell me who you think is going to win.